Hi dear children, this class we are moving to the climax of this story and we are discussing the last portion of the story. Now you could understand what happened to the boy and did he found his father and his mother. Are you ready? Before that, let's have a quick view to the events that happened in this story that we had discussed in the previous classes. Okay? The event is happening in a fairground. Right? A boy with his parents passing through a fairground. Then he saw many shops there. Then he noticed a shop with beautiful toys. Then he was fascinated by toys and he asked to his father to buy that toy. Then what happened? His father looked at him with red-eyed, with angry. Remember? But his father didn't agree with that and he looked at the boy with angry. Then the boy saw a sweet shop but he wanted a laddu. Laddu was his favorite sweet. He wanted a laddu but he afraid to ask for laddu to his father. Why? Because he know his father will not like if he asked for sweets. So he just murmured. Then he saw a garland seller and a balloon seller. He wished to have the jasmine garland and balloons, but he knew his parents will not allow that. When they walked on, he saw a giant wheel. Then he walked near to the giant wheel and he turned back to ask permission to his father. Then he couldn't see his parents there. He searched everywhere. He cried loudly. Then a man lifted him and asked about him. The man tried to console the boy by showing different rides, but he didn't stop his cry. There we stopped the previous class. Now let's check what is happening next. Would you like balloons? Would you like the rainbow colored balloon? He asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and continued sobbing. I want my mother. I want my father. The man took him to the flower seller. Look, child, smell those nice flowers. Would you like a jasmine garland? The child turned his face and continued crying. I want my mother. I want my father. The man took him to the sweet shop. What sweet would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face away from the sweet shop and sobbed. I want my mother. I want my father. So here the man trying to turn his mind and he tried to console the child by showing different things. But the child was not ready to stop his crying, and he was crying by saying that I want my mother, I want my father. So he can't find his father and mother, and they were missed in that rush. So he was crying. Clear? Let's read that chapter one more time. All of you listen to the textbook. Do you remember the chapter name? The Lost Child. It was a summer fair. People walked to the fairground through the narrow lane. Some of them walked and some rode on horses. Some others came on bullock carts. The little boy ran around his father. He was fascinated by toys and stopped to have a close look at them. Come, child, come, called his father. He hurried to his parents. I want that toy, he pleaded. His father looked at him, red-eyed. The boy walked away sadly with his parents. Gulab jam, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi, laddu yelled a hawker at the entrance. He called out at the passers-by. Many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold were seen. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered. Laddu was his favorite sweet. I want that laddu, he murmured. He knew that his parents would say he was greedy. Without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A garland of jasmine, a garland of jasmine, a flower seller shouted. I want that garland, the child murmured. But without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, green, red and purple balloons. The child stood there watching the balloons. He wished to have them all, but he knew that his parents would never buy him the balloons. They would say he was too old to play with such things. So he walked on. Suddenly he heard a creaking sound nearby. Children were roaring with laughter. He ran to that place. Men, women and children were riding on a giant wheel in a whirling motion. I want to go on the giant wheel. Please, father, mother, the child pleaded earnestly. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. He looked at both sides. He could not find them there. He looked around. There was no sign of them. Father, mother, he called aloud. He began to cry in real fear. Tears rolled down from his eyes. He ran hither and thither in all directions. He didn't know where to go. Mother, father, he cried. He ran through the crowd, calling out, Father, mother. A man in the crowd heard his cry. He lifted him up in his arms. How did you get there, child? Whose child are you? The man asked. The child wept bitterly. I want to see my mother. I want to see my father. The man took him to the merry-go-round to soothe him. Would you like to go for a ride? He asked gently. The child sobbed more bitterly. I want my mother. I want my father. The man took him near the balloon man. Would you like the rainbow-colored balloon? He asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and continued sobbing. I want my mother. I want my father. The man took him to the flower cellar. Look, child, smell those nice flowers. Would you like a jasmine garland? The child turned his face and continued crying. I want my mother. I want my father. The man took him to the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face away from the sweet shop and sobbed. I want my mother. I want my father. Now, let's enjoy a poem written by William Blake. Are you ready? All of you recite it after me. Father, father, where are you going? Oh, do not walk so fast. Speak, father, speak to your little boy, or else I shall be lost. The night was dark, no father was there. The child was wet with dew. The mire was deep, the child did weep. And away the vapor flew. Once more. What's the name of that poem? The Little Boy Lost. Who wrote this poem? William Blake. Okay, let's read it one more time. Father, father, where are you going? Oh, do not walk so fast. Speak, father, speak to your little boy, or else I shall be lost. The night was dark, no father was there. The child was wet with dew. The mire was deep, and the child did weep, and away the vapor flew. Look at the words given below. They end in same sound. Identify and write down the rhyming words from the poem. Do you know what is a rhyming word? The words end in the same sound that are called rhyming word. First, let's familiar with some rhyming word, and after that you do this activity as yourself. Okay? Rhyming words are the words end in the same sound. Look at these words and read it after me. Last, past, here, there, fair, hair. These words are ends in the same sound, right? Now you just try to pick some rhyming words from this poem and write in the given space in your textbook, page number 106. Okay? And next, our parents do a lot of things for us that being joy and happiness. Some of them are given in the lines below. Read the following lines. My father, dear father, bring me sweets and toys. My mother, sweet mother, tell me good stories. Now add more lines to the above, choosing appropriate words from the box below. You can select words from the table below. Make, pluck, bring, buy, sing, pen and book, ripe mangoes, paper boards, playthings, sweet songs, dress and shoes. So, these types of questions will also come in your question papers. So, it is necessary to practice to add more lines in poems. So, you try by selecting words from the box and add more lines to the poem. Okay, I think all of you understood this work and all of you do it well. All of you read the chapter at least 3 times and study well. And remember all the context of this story. And this is the time to wind up our class. And let's meet with the next class with the activities of this chapter. Till then, take care. Thank you.